This is an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File Program with Peter Anthony Holder. Now, the Stuph File presents Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy. It's radio that's out of this world.
Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy, is a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada and the author of National Geographic's Backyard Guide to the Night Sky, and also National Geographic's Stargazer's Atlas, the ultimate guide to the night sky. And Andrew, I've been warning for a while, Bennu's coming. But we now have parts of Bennu that scientists can study.
That's right. Yeah, this is exciting astronomers everywhere. The fact that they finally have these amazing precious samples from this distant asteroid that really has the potential one day to maybe collide with Earth. It's considered a near-Earth object, meaning that this 500-meter sized rock, a little bit longer than the Empire State Building in New York City, has the potential to hit Earth at one point. In fact, what's really interesting, and I know, Peter, this is something that you follow, and I don't want to make it more nerve-wracking for you, but there is a risk of it striking Earth, Bennu has, in about 159 years from now. There's a risk of this happening. Right now, the odds are 1 in 2,700 that it would hit. Now, I know that sounds low, 1 in 2,700, but that's about twice as likely as someone actually finding a 4-leaf clover. Just to put that into perspective. But it's also 5 times as likely as someone being struck by lightning. How about that?
Well, it's still better tthan winning the lotto.
Yeah. Oh, much more so. You know, look, honestly, the expectations are that these odds will go down. I mean, it'll be less risky for us as we learn more about the asteroid, because something of this size hitting the Earth does not happen very often. It's quite rare. We're talking tens of thousands, if not even 1 million years or more to go by before something like this would hit. But it kind of behooves us that we have the technology now to go out and study these asteroids. So these type. And we think there's tens of thousands of Bennu-like asteroids hanging around Earth's orbit. And so we're cataloging them through our telescopes on the ground, but we're also trying to get up close and personal information about it. So this mission, OSIRIS-REx, that went and actually snagged some of samples off the surface of the asteroid, a 7-year mission called OSIRIS-REx, launched in 2016, took 2 years to get to its destination, went into orbit around Bennu for 2 years, made a very intricate map of the surface, a 3D map. It stunned scientists that the surface of Bennu was actually very mottled and filled with a hodgepodge mix of stones of all sizes. And it was a very risky type of terrain for the spacecraft to be able to touch down and catch a sample. But it actually did that in 2020. And scooped up a sample, put it into a canister, and it's that canister that made a 2 billion kilometer journey back to Earth, and it landed late last month in the deserts of Utah. And that's what now scientists are going to study. And we're talking about a few hundred grams of dirt from Bennu that we're hoping is going to help us understand not only what Bennu is about and maybe perhaps understand how we can mitigate any oncoming collision with it, what would we do with the asteroid itself, but it's also unlocking some of the mysteries of the origins of Bennu. We think it's over 4.5 billion years old pristine samples that we've collected. It's unlike anything else we've ever gotten a chance to look at.
And also, there is some Canadian technology aboard that spacecraft, and as a result, Canada will be getting a small percentage of the bounty.
Yeah, about 4% of the sample will be divvied up to Canada. Canadian scientists, multiple scientists at different universities, laboratories will have access to this. And this is going to be a boon for Canadian scientists, definitely, in being able to kind of peer back through this special window of time and understand the formation of the solar system. And we think happened, almost 5 billion years ago.
So besides the fact that Bennu is hitting us, maybe there is a need to find another planet that is not in its way that we can all live on. And so from that possibility, Apparently, there's an Earth-like planet at the end of our solar system?
Well, this is something that's been in the works for a while. A lot of rumors about this possibility of a planet nine, not Pluto this time, but a major planet, a large one, at least the size of the Earth, if not maybe 3 to 10 times the size of our planet. And this is something that astronomers have been searching for because they see the possible gravitational effects of something unknown pulling and pushing other objects, namely what are called Kuiper Belt objects, KBOs. The Kuiper Belt is, you can think of it as a donut-shaped region of hundreds of thousands of rocks of all sizes that orbit the solar system at much farther away than the planet Neptune or even Pluto, the minor dwarf planet. We're talking 10 to 70 billion kilometers away from the sun. Just to put that into perspective, Neptune is on average about 4 billion kilometers away from the sun. So it's just a crazy distance that all of these objects are hanging around. But what we're seeing through our telescope observations is that some of these Kuiper Belt objects, these giant rocks, are being pushed into a certain orbit, like a squashed elliptical orbit, that can only be caused by the gravitation pull of a large object. And it has to be positioned somewhere out beyond the orbit of Neptune and Pluto. The latest calculations that astronomers have done on computers is trying to figure out what this object would theoretically be like and where in the solar system it would be like. So they think it's something on the order of at least 1.5, probably more like 3 to 4 times larger than the Earth. And it's located, somewhere around 7 to maybe 15 billion or maybe even farther, billion kilometers away from the sun, which means if it does exist, we think our telescopes would be able to pick it out. There's about a 90% chance, according to the new computer models, that this Earth-sized world can be picked up by telescopes as long as they know where to look.
Speaking of where to look, one of the things that have a lot of people concerned, especially backyard astronomers, is the idea of light pollution that makes it difficult to look, never mind where to look.
Yeah, this is really interesting. There's a new science paper in the journal Science that's coming out. It's written by a cosmologist and a light pollution expert. And they've come up with coined a new term called Notalgia. Notalgia, meaning kind of the missing of the night, reminiscing of a night that's gone. And so this really speaks to the current situation with light pollution around the world, where humanity is basically being blocked from seeing the night sky that countless generations have been able to do. All these cities, these giant, sprawling cosmopolitan centers with lights that are on 24 hours a day is really a problem and has cut generations now of people off of being able to experience the night sky. The night sky has been part of humanity and cultures around the world, deep cultural connections, in fact, and that's being lost. And that's what they're expressing in this latest paper, is that this is a serious issue that really is going to be changing the cultures of around the world too, and something that the experience of seeing like the Milky Way band overhead, being able to see constellations are going to be, a distant memory if we're not going to take hold of being able to control artificial light pollution. And, Peter, what's made it worse, what they've identified is these cheap LED light bulbs that, it sounds great because for the environment because they last for tens of thousands of hours. Problem is that a lot of these commercial buildings that are opting for using these less expensive LED lights may be saving money, but what they're doing is they're many times leaving their lights on 24 hours a day, feeling that because it's so cheap, they can afford to do that. And so this, in a sense, kind of backfired, and hoping that we would have better lighting, it's actually causing people to feel like they can just waste lighting even more. Another problem that was identified in this paper that's really burgeoning and becoming very urgent is satellites that are being put up, especially these internet satellites that we you and I have talked about before through SpaceX and Elon Musk's company putting up space-based internet systems that really kind of democratizes access to high-speed internet wherever you are, even from the most remote locations through their Starlink system. But they've already put up thousands of satellites, over 3,000. The hopes that they have is having a chain of over 30 to 40,000. This is just one company, but there are many other of these internet-based companies that are popping up that want to do the exact same. So the problem here is already arising that photographs being taken by professional and even amateur backyard astronomers showing these streaks of light that are being caused by these Starlink satellites, basically ruining photography of the night sky, study of the night sky. And the fear is by professional astronomers that there is going to be this nuisance of satellites everywhere. Like we're in a web of them surrounding our planet.
Well, let's hope that in the future we can still call you the Night Sky Guy. Andrew, thank you very much for being on the program with us once again. Always a treat to have you on.
My pleasure. Clear skies.
Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy. You can go to my website at thestuffile.com to the page for this show, which is show number 0738, and you'll find links to Andrew's site to get your own personal autographed copy of his books.
You've just heard an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File Program with Peter Anthony Holder. To hear any or all of the full hour-long shows, visit thestuffile.com. Stuff is spelled S-T-U-P-H. That's thestuffile.com. A presentation of Flying Fish Communications.